Giving glory to God. Welcome to A Child's Point of View. My name is Jayla.
My name is Kayla.
And will y'all please introduce yourselves?
My name is Ariana.
I'm Jack.
I'm Marion.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to start with prayer. Everybody bow your heads and hold hands. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking everybody up, and thank you for letting me have this breath. Lord, we thank you that everybody returns home safely, and we have a great time, and we have some fun while having the show on. And we also hope that Miss Margaret feels better, because she is out right now because she's sick. We hope she feels so much better so she can come back next Thursday to be on the show. And we hope everybody has a great day and everybody will love each other. Amen.
Amen.
So now, can the guests introduce themselves?
So my name is Pete Light. I'm Director of Elementary Schools in the Colonial School District.
I am Molly Perdue. I am the Family Crisis Therapist at Eisenberg Elementary School, and I run the Big East Student Council.
And my name is Dusty Blakey. I am the Superintendent of Colonial School District.
Thank you for introducing yourself. That sounds like a lot of work. So now I'm going to ask the guest, where are you from and how's your day going? Starting with Ariana.
My day is going good. I don't know what to say. Tell the audience about your role in the Colonial School District.
At the Colonial School District at Eisenberg Elementary School, I'm the Family Crisis Therapist. And I also run the Student Council at Eisenberg. We are a leadership group, and we do a lot in the school and also in the community.
Thank you. Mr. Dusty, can you tell us how hard is it to actually work with what you do? Wait, and
Well,
also what did you do again? Oh.
I'm the Superintendent of Colonial School District.
So is it hard to be a superintendent, and is it fun, or is it like a whole bunch of paperwork, and like do you get a little tired of it sometimes?
All of the above. There's always paperwork, but the important thing is what we're doing and what we're planning to do is to impact kids and to educate kids. And so it's always fun trying to think of new ways and engage my colleagues here in thinking of new ways to educate students and to engage them in lifelong learning and to give them goals that they can work to and aspire to as they grow up. So
Thank you.
Yep.
Your name was Mary Jane, you said?
Marion.
Marion. So Marion, is it fun to like do a lot of work? Do you like doing a lot of work in school, or would you rather like just lay down and go to sleep and go on your phone or whatever?
It depends what it is. Like, I like math. That's like the only subject I do like, and anything else is kind of boring to me. But I do work hard in all subjects, but I would rather sleep than do anything.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to ask some questions? Okay, so would you like to ask the questions? Any of you guys like to
I
ask
think
questions?
they might have some questions.
Would you like to ask questions, the guest questions?
We have heard of the 4 pillars in Colonial. Can you explain them to our audience?
The 4 pillars are the 4 things that we believe in that are going to make our district successful long term. That's investment in early education, investing in leadership and learning, investing in innovation, and investing in the idea of access and opportunity. So access means getting our students involved in things they may never have been involved in before, which then changes their perspective and gives them opportunities and leads them to places that they may not have thought about before. So those are the 4 pillars.
How do you help schools to encourage leadership and innovation?
So one of my roles is to be as director of elementary schools is to be responsible for leadership development and support and for our school principals, but then other school leaders. And so there are opportunities for me to go in and to work with principals in their schools, and then other times we will ask them to come and meet us, and we have professional development is what we call it. It's basically like they come to class and we teach them how to become better leaders. And then we also do that with our assistant principals and student advisors, and then other teachers that would like to become administrators or school leaders at different times. So we work with them and we do different activities with them, kind of like we did with the Leadership Summit. And so for the Leadership Summit, we also fostered leadership activities with kids this year.
Thank you. You guys have any other questions?
Yes. How can students have a stronger voice in their schools?
How can students have a stronger voice in school? I think getting involved in activities at school, even at the elementary level, is important for them to have a voice. It's important that they know their voice is the most important thing in the school. At Eisenberg, in particular, we have our Big E leadership program. So students are actively involved using their voice. They run the meetings. They run the things at our school. It really helps lead us as adults and what we're doing in the classroom and in the community. Students that are looking to have their voice heard are usually students that are traditionally the leaders in the classroom and in the schools. So I think that Colonial is key in making sure with this leadership summit that the kids have the skills that they need to use their voice, and they're learning how to find it.
We believe that student voice is really important, and then it's also, we have to create those opportunities so it's not just for students that are the ones that raise their hand and actively participate. We have to really work hard to get the kids that are not raising their hands to have that opportunity to share what they think is great or share their thoughts and opinions about what's going well in their school. So it's a part of our leadership teams at the schools, and like Ms. Purdue, to make sure that we make that happen.
Well, and I'll also tag on and say the 4 pillars. That second pillar of leadership and learning, fundamentally and very simply put, our job as leaders is to inspire more leaders, not followers. So we need to make sure that we allow and distribute power so that our teachers become leaders, our students become leaders, and everybody has a voice in our success. That's how we become successful, and that's how we become great, is when everybody has a voice and everyone has a role.
Thank you.
So, how did the Leadership Summit idea come about?
So interestingly enough, last year, I think it was at the district retirement, we had our district retirement dinner for teachers, and we had the Big E come and they helped moderate and do some things at the retirement dinner. And it was kind of at that time, I had some conversations with Big E and with Mr. Dissler, who's the principal at Eisenberg, and then with Dr. Blakey, and I said, it was kind of one of those brainstorms we had, and we said, it would be awesome if we could get student leaders from every single school, pull them together for a series of leadership days this year. So we have 3 leadership summits, and have them do a variety of leadership activities and help develop them as leaders, so then they can bring that back to the community and to their schools and make change in those settings as well. So that was kind of how it came about for us. And then we'll say this. So that was kind of like the idea, but the work was when I turned it over to Ms. Rydell, who you'll hear from a little bit later today, and Ms. Bateman and Ms. Barbas, who aren't here today, who did all the work to make it actually happen.
Thank you. So now we're going to, if you would like to, what do you think about the new president, Donald Trump? And that goes for the children and the adults.
Ariana, you want to go first?
Oh. What is my thoughts about our president?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my thought about the president, because our teacher, she was talking about us, she was talking to us, telling us that Donald Trump isn't really a bad person. He won because, that's what my teacher said, that he won because he didn't ask for money from people. And my teacher said that Hillary Clinton asked businesses to sponsor her and stuff for money.
Not really, no. I just want to see how it goes right now and see how it's going to go out for the rest of this new president's time for his in office.
Well, to me, I'm not really worried about it because you can't do anything about it now. It's already done. He's already the president. I might not like it, but there's nothing I can say or do about it really. So I just see how it goes for the next 4 years.
I would say that part of the Leadership Summit, one of the key things that the students learned was be proactive. And part of that leadership skill of being proactive is understanding what the students learned was understanding what you can control and what you can't control. And at the Leadership Summit, the students had the 2 circles, and they talked about what they can control. You can't control the weather, but you can control what you wear with the weather. And right now, we can't control who was elected as president right now. It is what it is. But we can control how we respond to it. And we can respond to it positively, or we can respond to it negatively. And you can do it with an open mind and think, let's see what happens, and take care of ourselves and make sure that we are creating the change that we want to create in our own communities. And that's what I hope that our leaders at our school do. They are positive, and they are proactive, and they are controlling what they can control by being positive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say that I like what you said, and that makes a lot of sense. And I also wanted to say, when I said at school, I think that kids should vote actually. So because it's not just about kids, it's about it's not just about adults. Kids have to suffer, and also adults. And even though adults are maybe more mature, well, some adults are more mature than others, kids are 4th graders, maybe 4th graders and up should be able to it should count a lot like adults, because we have thoughts, and if without us, there's not going to be future doctors, no nurses, no teachers, no anything. And I thought maybe kids should be able to vote maybe just a little bit, and it will count maybe a little inch, because if adults get to vote, what about the kids' feelings and how they feel about it? And if their parents get to vote, why can't we? We should have maybe some things that adults do, just writing on a little paper like you guys do, to vote, see who will win, like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. So we have the choice for us also, instead of our parents saying, oh, well, you should actually vote for that person, or you should actually vote for this person. We're our own person. We know that we have to listen to our parents, but sometimes our parents don't say something right, but they just want us to be better than them. They love us very much, so yeah.
How can students get involved in the Leadership Summit?
So what we did this year is we have different student leadership organizations at each one of our schools, and from those organizations they selected 6 students in 4th or 5th grade in order to be involved for the year. And so we wanted to make sure that they were involved for all 3 summits so that we could really develop them as leaders. And I think the one thing that we really hope will happen, and Dr. Blakey and I talked about this afterwards, that we really want to see the impact and how can we share what you're learning during the summits with your classmates back at school, and then also think about 1 thing or 2 things that you can do in your school that will make a difference in your school or your community. And so that was one of the things that we were hoping would happen, and that would involve, of course, bringing other kids into the mix.
Okay, so tell us how the Big E got started and what impact it has had on the school.
The Big E started as a very small group of students that were meant to be peer models. What it has evolved to over the last several years is a bigger group of students that have to apply to get into the Big E. They have to say what makes them a leader. They have to say what they will do to change our school. And the program has evolved into they lead, they run everything in our school, all of our after-school programs they're involved in, they do community involvement. The impact that we've seen it have for our school is a positive change in our climate, a positive change in the behaviors, and we've also seen those students progress into the middle school and the high school into even further leadership roles.
So I have a question for somebody on the panel. So you're part of the Lighthouse team, is that right, at Newcastle?
Yeah.
Can one of you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Well, so last year we would sign up. It's for like 4th to 5th graders, and you would say why you want to be on the Lighthouse team. What can you do? Like how she said, and they will tell you who made it at an assembly, so you will be seen and your parents get to see you and so see that you made it. And this year they get to start, and we have meetings, and at those meetings we all just like go back off each other, coming up with ideas like what we can come up with and what we can do to help out any way that we can.
And to collaborate on that, we help for like projects to do for our school and our communities. And like sometimes we come up for projects that we want to do at the school.
Can you give us an example of one of the projects that you've come up with?
One of the projects that we do, like the people, they help us, like if there's people that kind of sign up for math night, like they do math night, but for the people, like there's already enough people, they already get to do it. Like in reading night, they have to be there to help.
And also part of the Student Lighthouse team, we look for students who are doing good things, and we announce them and what they did on the announcements.
This goes for all of our guests. What made you be what did you do that made you what made you want to be what you are now?
I'll start. My parents were both educators, so unfortunately I think it's in my blood. My parents tried to get me to go that direction when I was initially in college, and I fought it and didn't want to do it. But once I started to do it, I found that it was my calling. It was what I was supposed to do. And so seeing the impact that you can have on a person in their life and the outcomes that they have there's no greater feeling in the world. And you don't always see it immediately, but when you meet that person down the road and they tell you you made a difference in their life, that's the reward that you get, because the reward isn't the pay, it definitely isn't the long hours, it definitely isn't sometimes when people tell you off and say bad things to you. You just kind of have to let all that go because you're here for kids, and you're here about making sure that you give them better than what you have. Our job is to make your life better than it is today. And so that's kind of, I think, how I became an educator.
I would say the same. I enjoy working with children and making their lives positive and better. I would agree. I found it was my calling. At first I thought I wanted to be an elementary ed teacher, and luckily I got the fit as a counselor, so I enjoy helping families and children.
Yeah, and for me, it took me a little bit longer to figure out that that's what I wanted to be, because I didn't have it necessarily running through my blood like Dr. Blakey from his parents. But interestingly enough, both of my sisters are teachers, and my wife is a teacher. So it's so somehow maybe it is in my blood, but maybe skip the generation. But for the same reasons, I mean, I think the greatest thing that we see is this impact that we have on kids, and then ultimately on the community. And I think that's the mission that really drives me the most, is to help us change our community, and that, to me, we can do that through educating our children. So what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist.
I want to be like an art teacher and like a movie star, because, well, yeah, I just want to be it, and because I like doing art a lot, and also I like being on TV.
So what about you guys? What do you hope to be when you finally are able to?
When I grow up, I want to be a pediatrician because I just want to help like kids and stuff.
When I grow up, I want to be an engineer.
I want to be an anesthesiologist.
A what?
An anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologist. That's awesome.
Oh, and also I'll be a mom.
A mom.
A mom.
Mom. Great.
And I like dogs, so.
Any other questions?
From getting where you are now, did you have like any rough patches, or was there like times where you just didn't want to do it anymore, or anything like that?
I think we all are faced with those ups and downs, and I think that we have to work. You know, as you get older, you handle those ups and downs better. And you know, definitely there's been some times when I thought, boy, is education really what I want to do? But fortunately for me, those days don't come very often. I feel like I try to make the best of every situation that I'm in, and seize the opportunities that I enjoy the most. And I think the more when you're in a career that you love, you know, it makes and you're passionate about, it does make those rough times just smooth out pretty easily, and know that they're just rough patches.
Yeah, I would say, I would agree that I think everybody hits a spot in their life, but it's really about perseverance, focus, and the ability to bounce back, because all of us are going to fall at some point. So it's not how often we fall down, it's about what we do each time we get up. And if you're staying focused on whatever your dreams are, we want your dreams to be reality. And so you have to create a plan and make that plan, then put it in place. And you can expect that everything's not going to go your way. And you just have to keep the faith and keep focused and enact your plan. And it eventually will all happen.
Why is it like, did you have any other dreams that you wanted to become like early in life? Like, did you always want to do what you do today?
So I went to school initially, I thought I wanted to be an accountant, which is definitely not something that I would want to be now. I just thought I really liked math a lot, and so I thought that would be the right job for me. But as Dusty and Molly would probably tell you, that I'm pretty far from that as my personality. So
yeah, I had aspired to be a lawyer. I initially went to college as an accountant and switched majors to be a lawyer, and actually did put myself in position to do it. And then life got in the way, and you decide to do what is really your calling. And that I ended up switching over into education, and that's who I am.
I started in elementary education. I thought I wanted to be a classroom teacher, and I did a practicum, and I realized I didn't want to be confined into a classroom. So I took my path down a social work path, which is a similar helping field, and just it fit. And so now I'm lucky that I'm able to be a social worker and a counselor in a school.
Are you able to make enough money being a mom and what you are now?
I think so. It's not a lot of money, but you have to decide if that's the path you want to take, or if you want to. I decided that I wanted to make change in the world, and so that was the choice that I made.
Money doesn't always buy happiness.
No.
Just keep that in mind.
So have you ever like took a child like the school on a field trip, and have you thought maybe like taking them to like a field trip, like 2 field trips and 1 field trip, and so like maybe like one of the children was allergic to something? Like, has that ever happened? Like someone ate something that they weren't supposed to, and they didn't know what they ate was gonna hurt them or like make them, you know, blow up and or anything, or have like one of the students got hurt on a field trip?
I've never personally had that happen.
No, I haven't had that happen. to
No,
me
I've
either.
never had that happen. But when you talk about field trips, that fits into our last pillar of access and opportunity. We want to provide access. We take field trips to Europe. That we've had students go, they go all over, and we try to get our teachers to think along those same lines, get out of the classroom, because learning's not always within those 4 walls. A lot of your learning comes outside of the classroom. So we really want our teachers to take field trips. Nothing as bad as what you've just talked about, but we really want our teachers to push the limit and go.
Can you tell us some field trips that you have had over like the years?
So we took a field trip to Washington, D.C. one time with my 5th grade class when I was a teacher, and that was a really, really fun day. They got to see Washington, and these are a lot of students that had never been there before and normally wouldn't go.
I'll be coming to Iceberg.
It was a lot of fun. And it was when I was teaching in Iceberg, yeah.
Yeah, I would say when I was a teacher at Del Castle many years ago, I took kids to London. We went to the theater. And then as an administrator at William Penn, we went to Spain. And those are just a few of the trips that we went on.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time for our break. So
Please stay tuned while we
And
go on commercial.
thank you. Thank you. Welcome back to the Child's Point of View. Thank you for the guest that was previously on. Now we have a new guest. So starting with,
Hi, I'm Miss Rydell. I am a 3rd grade teacher at Newcastle Elementary School, and I helped plan the Student Leadership Summit.
thank you.
I am Mackenzie.
I am Destiny.
Hi, my name is Elena from Iceberg.
Thank you. Take it away.
For Miss Rydell, what was your favorite activity during the Student Leadership Summit?
That is a tie. I really enjoyed watching the students do the marshmallow challenge. You guys were put in different teams and had some odd resources to use. You had the spaghetti and the marshmallow, and you had to make a tower. And it was really interesting to watch everybody work together, especially with students that they didn't know from other schools. The other activity that I really liked was teaching the habits and doing the activities that went with it. And at the end of the day, you all were able to use the habits and tell us what they meant and explain the different activities that went with that. So that was really interesting to me.
That sounds really interesting to me, and I haven't even did it.
Okay, so what would you tell other students about becoming a leader?
Is that question still to me?
Like, you would have to, like, be a role model and, like, don't be a follower and be independent and rely on yourself and no one else.
I'm the same with her.
I would probably say, like, never be shy, share all your thoughts and opinions, because people across from you might have the same thing, and you could probably be like, oh, I have the same thing. Yeah, probably that.
What do you hope to learn at the next Student Leadership Summit in February?
Like, I don't really know, but like learn different things, like the next 4 leadership habits.
Yeah, the 4 habits of the leadership.
Or I might just like see more activities and meet new friends that wasn't there. Probably will sick and meet new friends that might be there this time, and then make a new group, have a new challenge and activities.
Which of the 3 habits, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first, had the biggest impact on you?
I would say put first things first, because you always want to do, your homework first, and then like go outside and play with your friends later.
I will say probably being proactive because you don't want to, you can't control other things around you, but you can control yourself.
I would probably put first things first because you need to do your schoolwork before you go outside and play.
Ms. Rido?
I like be proactive as well. Especially as an adult, there are a lot of things that you can control, but there are also still a lot of things that you can't control. And adults like me sometimes stress about things that we can't control. So it's a good reminder that there are some things that are out of our circle of influence and that we just have to let them go and realize that stressing and worrying about them aren't going to help us solve those problems.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for the children over there?
No, not really.
Mackenzie, do you have any questions?
No.
And J-Lo, do you have any questions?
No.
You guys sure? Do you have any questions for them?
So for my student lighthouse team, what are your favorite habits?
My favorite habit is probably put first things first, because you have to worry about the things that you have to do before the things that you don't really have to do, like play outside or play on your phone, stuff like that. But you have to get your schoolwork done before you do all of that stuff.
I would say put first things first too, because you should do what you have to do in class and your homework and all the other stuff that you have to do during the day, and then do all the fun stuff that you have to do.
Mine would be think win-win, because then it would be less arguing about stuff and more just communicating and try to agree on both so that you can both be happy.
Okay. These questions are for Ms. Riddle. Okay, so the first question is, what was your greatest challenge in getting the Student Leadership Summit set up?
My biggest challenge, and for the team that planned it with me, was to fit in everything that we wanted to do in the first day. We had a really long list of ideas of different activities, team building activities, and we had the habits that we wanted to teach you. But we realized that we couldn't fit all of it into the very first day, so that is why we have 3 days to do it this year. But we had to cut down and make decisions about which activities went with which habit. There are a lot of other activities that we could have done, so we had to be picky as to which ones we wanted to show you and which ones would be most relevant to 4th and 5th grade students. So that was what was most challenging for us.
What do you think you will do for the next steps?
For our next steps, we are planning our 2nd Leadership Summit in February. For that summit, we want to take what we learned from the students and from the teachers that came with you to help us plan the next day. We are going to continue to teach the habits and do activities that go with them, but we also want to give you all a chance to meet other students from other schools and have a chance to create ideas and leadership opportunities that you can take back with you to your schools, so that you can spread the knowledge that you've learned and share that with your classmates.
Thank you.
Why do you think the Student Leadership Summit is important?
The summit is extremely important, and I'm really glad that I get to be a part of planning it and presenting to you. As Dr. Blakey had mentioned before, he talked about the 4 pillars in Colonial. So a huge part of the planning that went into the summit was access and opportunity. We had an idea that we wanted the students to have access to all of the leadership knowledge and all the habits so that they could take it to each school and share it. And we wanted to also hit on the pillar of leadership and learning, so we could teach the habits that go with that as well. And we want you to take these habits and become stronger leaders and take it with you to middle school, high school, to college, and then into your careers. The habits work for adults just as well as they work for students.
Thank you. So I was asking a question if, like, is it hard to do the job and, like, maybe say some of the children were acting up? Is it, like, hard to deal with the ones that are actually listening and the ones that are not, like?
Well, fortunately, we had a great group of students, and each group of students came with an adult. So we didn't really have any problems with students acting up. Most students were really engaged and were really excited to participate in the activities and learn more.
Also, I wanted to ask if Family Foundations is going to become actually a colonial school.
I do not know the answer to that, but I can find out more and let you know later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do you think we could impact more students?
Well, I think that's your job. As leaders in your school, it's your responsibility to take what you learn at the summit and share it amongst your team members that aren't able to come to the summit, and also share it to the other students. It's your responsibility to take it and grow your program and teach everyone else, not just a teacher's job.
That's a really good response.
Thank you.
Why is it important for schools to have a student counseling?
It's important for students to have, or schools to have a student council, because you're the students that go to the school. You spend 8 hours a day at school. We want to make sure that your voice is being heard. What I think might be best in, for example, the cafeteria, might not be what you guys think is best. So if there is a student council, it'll be your chance to find your voice and share your solutions to the problems, not just for the adults to solve your problems.
For the students, what are the qualities of a good leader?
You always have to be a role model, and you have to, like, not, like, depend on someone else.
Yeah, and you could be independent.
And you always have to cooperate with your peers and share thoughts.
Okay. What is the Big E? The Big E is a student council where you have to do an application to get in, and then once you get in, now they added one, there's 5 officers. There's the president, the vice president, the secretary, the public relations officer, and the treasurer. And you have to give a speech to the rest of the Big E members, and the other Big E members have to elect or vote.
What a biggie, what Biggie is to me is it is a program about student council, and that we make sure we're always doing the things that we're supposed to do.
It's Biggie is like a student council, but we show all of our leadership and show people in our school so they can know when they get in 4th and 5th grade, they can know that they need to do an application, know how leadership works, never be shy, cooperate with peers, and never argue or get mad over stuff.
What type of things do you do in your school?
We want to do more fundraisers, and now we're doing a canned food drive, and we're asking other schools if they would participate.
We're trying to help other people with their needs and stuff. So we do these canned food drives to help other people, and programs and stuff like that.
So like in the morning when we get there at like 9:30, we go over to Leach, and then we help like the disability kids, and then like we like play with them like so they can have new people to come in every Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, and they could come in and then we can help them, and then we do safety patrol. We walk around the school, and then that makes sure that everybody's straight, and then we can show our leadership off to everybody in the school.
One of the things that we do in my school is we help younger children, kindergarteners, to help them with their homework and things that they need help on. Some children are needing help to do lots of things, and the older kids are, and myself, like my school is gonna have like a food drive where we're gonna give like a lot of cans. We're gonna have a fall festival, and like say my mom, my brother, they came and myself came. I have to bring 3 canned goods, and I'll be able to go in. We'll have things, and we'll talk about how we should do things, and we make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the people that need it. And we do a lot of things for other people, not just our school. We take care of our school, and we take care of everybody around us and people in our school. If they need help, if there's something wrong, there's the counselor, and yeah.
What's your favorite activity that you've been a part of since you've been on the Big E?
My favorite is the safety patrol, because you just go around the school, you're a role model to everyone else, and you make sure kids are doing the correct thing.
Well, my favorite activity for the Big E is going to Leach, because I like helping the kids that need needs for them, and that they can make new friends every time we go.
What about like my favorite activity is when so it's like basically going to Leach, because like you can see your friends from there, but then like when you go over there you can like see like a whole lot more. And then like we just had like it was the pumpkin chunking, where you just like launch a pumpkin over across the parking lot. Then that's when like if you get the farthest you win, you get to pie somebody, and then pie one of the teachers, and then that's when you just have fun there.
How did you guys get into the Big E?
So how we got in the Big E is we have to do an application about saying like what we're gonna do for the Big E, and like these whole bunch of questions saying like what we're gonna do and what do we want to do to help the school.
And after we're done, like we get people like if they want to be an officer, we can like give them a paper, and then like on Friday or Thursday we give them the speech, and then they get the speech out of like the principal, the vice principal, and like everybody else, and then like they videotape it, and then like if you win, that's your officer spot, and you need to stay there.
Thank you.
What roles do you have on the Big E? Are you an officer?
Yes, we are.
I am the vice president.
I am the president.
I'm the public relations officer, bro.
What do you guys do as your roles? Like what does your role do?
Me and the president usually do the same thing.
Yeah.
We if the president isn't here, I usually take her spot when she isn't here.
Yeah, so we help Miss Purdue with stuff, and like we plan out things like what we could do to help other people.
I'm the public relations officer, and like what I basically do is when there's fundraisers coming out, I need to like fundraisers and assemblies, I need to help and make sure my ideas and my opinions that I should be with and opinion with them. That's what I do.
What things do you want to do better in your school?
We want to make sure that the kids like do what they're supposed to,
I want to make sure that the kids are always doing what they're supposed to do.
In our school, we could make school a better place by making it more fun and more a place that you really want to be at.
I think that our school could help, children should be more nice to others and also stop throwing things, but taking care of everybody else and seeing if someone's falling, pick them up, and maybe outside of school, pick up trash that you see on the ground outside, pick it up and throw it in the trash can and not leave it there and just throw more trash on the ground. Just pick it up. It's not that bad. Man up, be a big kid, and just pick it up. Just a little piece of trash, maybe a little apple cord. Just pick it up.
Hey, Castle, what are some things that you would like to see changed or would like to work on as a team?
What I would like to work on in our school is the amount of there's not a lot of bullying, but you see kids picking on other people that are not that are shy and they have trouble in their work and they need help from other people, but some people aren't helping them.
We need to work on being leaders everywhere we go in our school, because sometimes we just act up and we just don't do the right things.
I think we should work on people in the hallways, if they're running or walking, because we have lines for them to walk on, and sometimes they don't follow that direction. So we should try to come up with something to work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is it hard to get your work done and do all the jobs at your school?
No, because our responsibility is to do our work after we do something that we need to do.
And one of the habits are first things first, and you need to get your work done, able to go do your duty safety patrol or even have a meeting. So first things first is to do your classwork and then go to your biggie stuff.
Like what Jalil said, you want to get your work done first, and then you want to do your hallway sweep. That's what we call it on our school.
Thank you.
Would you recommend other schools start leadership clubs, and why would you like it if you would?
Yes, because every school should have a student council.
Yes, because every school should do this because it can help more people.
I think every school should do this because I think that everybody should have leadership programs, so people that stay inside and don't want to show everything can show everything in a leadership council program.
Thank you.
Ms. Ryder, did you have a certain job at the Leadership Summit? Did you do a certain thing or just helped out with everything?
Well, when we were planning the summit, we all worked together to decide on what activities we wanted to do. But at the actual summit, we decided which teacher was going to be responsible for sharing which part. So I was responsible for sharing about putting first things first and doing my Big Rocks presentation. And other teachers, Mrs. Barbas helped do the begin with the end in mind, and she also helped do the morning meeting and the closing ceremony. And Ms. Bateman was in charge of doing the Be Proactive Circle of Influence, and Dr. Lyda was responsible for leading the Marshmallow Challenge. So we synergized when planning, but then we delegated to make sure that everyone had a role.
Wrap it up. Thank you for the guests that came on. Your name is Mackenzie, Destiny, and J. Lil, and the people on the panel, and we hope you like the show and have a great day. And also I want to say hi, Miss Margaret. I hope you feel better. Bye.